Yeah. Could I have pulled out in front of a bike there because I didn't hear anything coming? I don't know, maybe. But ultimately I don't think it matters what transport you use, what you're riding, driving. None of us are perfect all the time. And we have different skill levels. So I certainly don't buy into the car drivers are trying to kill us attitude. There are good ones, there are bad ones. Unfortunately, the bad ones have a 2-ton killing machine below their feet. And they press that pedal, and you just don't know what's going to happen. Yesterday somebody told me, somebody who I quite like actually, told me how she got really upset because this guy was not using the cycle path, so she passed him close because she'd held him up on her way to work or whatever. But the thing is, she said it as if that was okay, as if it was normal, as if she taught him a lesson. What she'd actually done is threaten him with a deadly weapon, but she didn't see it that way. Not that I went too deep into the conversation, obviously. Anyway. Out for a little spin, get the legs going. Nothing too dramatic or heroic. I noticed that finally junk miles are getting the credit they deserve. I don't think it's any surprise that in the off season pro cyclists just ride their bikes many miles, no real efforts, you know. It's funny in the world how everything goes in rotation. I mean everything, I'm not just talking about cycling and stuff like that. Music, fashion, you know, the whole lot. And finally, junk miles are getting the credit they deserve. Now either that means that GCN haven't got a Sufferfest sponsorship anymore, or it's just come round again. And anybody who's watched this channel for any amount of time will know that Julie and I only really do junk miles. Long days out, yeah, we do little sprints around the forest with the guys in the evenings, but on our days out together, it is what roadies would consider junk miles. You know, there's no training involved. We're just going out, enjoying the, you know, being out, enjoying a day of cycling together, being together, enjoying the views. You know. Tell you what, those seagulls are big when they dive at you like that, aren't they? I thought I'd get out while it was quiet, do some junk miles, set myself up for the day. The only thing I don't like about that is I can hear all the creaks on the bike. I know my seat post is creaking a bit. I think some grit must have got in there. Needs proper clean. Maybe even some carbon grit paste. Not something I've ever used, but maybe I should. Never needed to be honest, with this defuse system. I know some people have had problems with it. I mean, you've got to read comments and stuff to know that, but even as a larger rider, I've never really had a problem with this clamping system. Okay, let's go over here. Yes. Coming, no. Oh, is she going to cross? I've got a feeling. No, she's on the pavement. Cool. Should I be telling her she's not allowed? She's not allowed to ride on the pavement. What are you doing? No, of course not. It's her life. I'm not the bicycle police. To be honest, the police over here are not the bicycle police either. Absolutely nobody about. She's doing nobody any harm. I doubt they'd even give a second look if they drove past. A little bit different if you're on a busy high street and people walking out of shops. Let's go along the seafront. No right turn except cycles there. There's quite a lot of those around town actually. We're quite lucky that we can get onto these quieter roads quite quickly just by using those sort of turns. Anyway, I'm out on my bike, 6 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time it is, I don't know. And it's very pleasant. We've had a long, dark winter. Hasn't been terrible, I'll be honest, as far as the weather goes, but it's always long and dark, you can't avoid that. And when it gets to this time of year, I've got that itching feeling to get out, because we've wasted quite a lot of time in the dark. So why waste time in the dark when you have this coming to greet you for the summer? Make the most of it. Julie obviously has a very different idea when it comes to getting up in the mornings. She needs to know the night before she's going to do it. She wants everything laid out, ready to go. That little bit of time between getting out of bed and getting on the bike is very dangerous for her. If she has to mess about, find clothes, things like that, she loses the impetus to get out the door and just sticks the coffee on, goes back to bed. I wasn't actually going to make a video today, but I charged all the batteries and wiped all the cards and set them up on the chest strap ready to go, so I thought I'd just grab one. Why not? Well, we hardly rode our bikes last week. I mean, I say that. We did actually ride our bike several times. Julie rode her bike every day for work, but we didn't actually go out on a ride. There is a new forest ride tonight. We're probably going to go. It all depends on how quickly we can get all finished up and in the car, packed up, ready to go. But I feel hopeful for tonight, because the starting location is actually quite easy to get to for us. Some of the starting locations for the forest rides, you have to go all around the houses to get there from the Bournemouth side, especially Milliford Bridge. You'll go all the way to Lyndhurst just to go back to Milliford Bridge, and yeah, that one is a struggle in the evenings. Long Cross tonight and Cadman's Pool, which is quite nearby to there, is actually pretty easy for us because there's a direct route just off the A31. So I'm hoping for the best. We can get all wrapped up and sorted by 5:30, and if Julie can get home for 5:30, we should have enough time to throw everything in the car and yeah, down to Long Cross for 7 o'clock start. Deck chair roundabout. The deck chair is still there. It's just gradually over the years, as the grasses have grown up around it, it's getting more and more covered up. Now this is a fast bit down here, but I'll say, just spinning the legs. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go actually. There's usually wind behind along here as well, so it's easily a sort of 30 to 35 mile an hour hill. Yeah, with my 4611 adventure gearing, that's about as fast as I can go on most hills. Right, car back. I'm guessing he'll come this way. It's probably a runner driving down to Hengistbury Head to go for a run. There's a sign up in Vélo Domestique, and it shows cyclists riding through traffic, stationary traffic. And it's got a caption, something along the lines of people sit in stationary cars to go to the gym and pedal stationary bikes. Which, when you think about it, is madness, isn't it? I do understand that everybody enjoys things in a different way, but yeah, driving to a place to get fit doesn't really make sense, does it? Cars just crossing behind me, plenty of time, no panic. Ah, Mr. Fox. On well, all my rides really, but on these types of rides I do like to try and keep pedaling if possible at all times, even downhill, through the corners when it's practical. It's something that I've done for years. I used to as soon as I got the camera out, or I was touching the Wahoo or going for the drinks bottle, I would stop pedaling, and after a while I just thought, why am I doing that? You know, I can pedal and take a drink at the same time. I can pedal and get something in and out of my pocket at the same time. And yeah, so even though you will see me freewheel on the videos from time to time, obviously, I do try to keep pedaling if I can. I think it helps just to keep the momentum going. I find that if I stop pedaling, the legs actually start not to seize up. That's totally dramatic and over the top, but I don't know, the tiredness creeps in quite quickly, and then you've got to sort of start pedaling again. Doesn't really make any sense. So why not keep pedaling and not worry about these things. Right, has Madam seen me? She has. We've got eye contact. Yep. She'll want to overtake. Oh, that's alright, the bike got off the road. Yeah, I thought she would. Of course, with the bike on the other side, it might have been a bit of a squeeze, but he jumped up on the pavement. Yeah, so the always pedaling thing. Julie, she has her little dizzy fits, let's say, when she stops pedaling, and she goes all dizzy and needs to get off the bike and what have you. And I don't think I ever have anything like that, but certainly after a hard effort you stop pedaling and you feel it quite quickly. The other thing about constantly pedaling is it just keeps everything ticking over. The breathing, the heart rate. You don't relax, you stay in whatever zone you're in at that time, and it doesn't try to go back to rest. Is it my imagination, or are the cars passing quite close today? Anyway, yeah, it doesn't send you back into rest mode, as it were. It keeps the energy and the air and the blood pumping around the body. And actually I find that that works better. So I don't have this constant rest, tired, thing going on, so it stays quite constant. Right, I'm going to move out because I don't want him trying to go around me at the corner here. Stay out a little bit because the road narrows. It's just catching up with me now, but that's fine. There's nowhere to overtake, so I shall stay out. Hopefully, oh, they went in the car park, so all sorted. Hello. Now I'd have been quite happy for him to come round me and go first, because now he's got to follow me through the lights. But hey, such is life. There's sometimes when you want cars to come past you, and sometimes when you don't. Oh, he's turning around. He's given up. Yeah, nobody behind me now. Yeah, still nobody there. Oh, they got rid of the gas tank and stuff. Welcome to the Gasworks, Christchurch. Going to be a new development by the look of it. Okay. Now it can be a bit iffy through here, through Purewell. But get out early, let the bus know I'm here, get out of the door zone for the parked cars. No, he's alright, he's staying there. Long way back actually. I think he's doing me a favour. I could let somebody pass here if there was somebody there, but it's all clear, so I'm going to stay away from the drains and use the road while I can. That's a shame. Well, apparently I have burnt 450 calories today already, or on the cycle ride anyway. Now I don't know how many I would have burnt if I hadn't been cycling through this period, obviously, but I'd like to think that I've added, you know, an amount of calories to that total, and it's doing me some good. Certainly making me feel quite happy. Bit of a headwind here, but nothing terrible. Yeah, we're good. An average of 188 watts so far. Let's go down to the seafront. Tide's out, look at that. See the sandbar.
Morning.
Morning. Right, this is a shared path. Obviously I'm prepared to give pedestrians priority should they need it. It's wide enough, it shouldn't be a problem. Morning. I used to do a lot of running in my 30s. Come from a family with a running background apparently, which I never knew until my 30s. And but an injury and a knackered knee put an end to that, and my knee specialist said you really ought to ride bikes. I didn't take him too seriously at the time, though we did used to ride our mountain bikes around town nice and easy, and he said nice easy gear, quite a fast cadence, and put everything back in line. Ah, okay. Yes, he said it'll put everything back in line. I need to turn the clutch back on, don't I? Oh, I just forgot. There we go. Turn that back on, shall we? Yeah, so anyway, knee problems. Yes, he said nice sort of medium fast cadence, very easy gear, don't push too hard, and it will just help put everything back in line. And it pretty much did. Yeah, it was very nice. It took 18 months though to not feel any pain and to even be able to just jog across the road. Walking was fine, cycling was fine, but any kind of yeah, jogging or anything like that took a long time to get over it. I don't know if some of that was psychological, not sure, but yeah, 18 months, it's all good. And I don't really have knee problems anymore. Even on the bike I get the occasional like just dull ache in one of my knees. It doesn't seem to matter which one, it can be either, and it just sort of, oh yeah, okay, but keep going, just make sure I line my leg up and I'm not getting lazy with the way that I'm sat or the way I'm pushing. Make sure my sort of foot is straight and what have you, and it goes away again. So I'm doing a cadence of 83 at the moment, and this is probably, well, what Leonard would call his home cadence. So yeah, this is probably my home cadence, anywhere about 80 to 85. And I do feel like if I lived somewhere flat, I could do that cadence all day. It wouldn't be a problem. It's not really taxing my breathing, my heart rate. It's just nice and easy. I do notice actually that my cadence, or average cadence on a ride, has been going down in recent months. And of course I have pretty strong thighs, and I do wonder if sometimes I'm letting my legs overpower everything else, then actually I should have a better balance of what's going on, you know, cadence, power, breathing, heart rate. And it's one of the things that I found really interesting when we rode with Leonard, is he seems to be acutely aware of his fitness, and I never really have been. Now let's quantify that. I suppose in my mind, if I've ridden 100 miles in the past, then I can ride 100 miles. Simple as that. I don't have to train for it, I don't have to do it. I've done it before, I can do it, it's not a problem. But having spoken to him, I've sort of come to understand a bit more that it's not the doing it, because to ride 100 miles, you don't have to be overly fit, you just have to be stubborn. Just keep going, because you just keep pedaling, doesn't matter how fast. You know, in the end, you'll get to 100 miles. And I have noticed that actually sometimes 100 miles is hard, and sometimes it's not quite so hard. So I guess I always have had that awareness of my fitness, but I've just thought about it in different ways. Like, that was a hard one today, not, yeah, I need to be a bit fitter. Yeah, I did that okay, but I could have done with being a bit fitter. But I guess it's just a different way of looking at you know, how you ride your bike and the experience you have. And I guess maybe that's one of the things about riding by feel. You've really got to be tuned in to your fitness and how you feel to actually make it accurate, and I never really had been. Car back. Right, good vision that way. There's a van back, big wide road. No problem whatsoever. Yeah, so I always find it quite funny when people say, oh, 100 miles, yeah, you've got to be fit to do that. Well, you haven't really. What you've got to be is fit to do 100 miles at 19 mile an hour average speed. Then you have to be fit. But to do 100 miles at, you know, 13, 14 average, you haven't got to be quite so fit. I say, you just need to be stubborn. You know, you just need to find the little ways to keep pedaling, which brings me back to the keep pedaling thing. Keep pedaling, the blood's pumping, the oxygen's going around, everything's working. There we go. Oh, there we go. Right, what's going on there? Something isn't quite right, is it? So again, I'm back up to about 82. It just feels good. I can maintain higher cadences, but I have to think about it. Now, for those of you who hadn't noticed, I've got quite a lot going on around the midriff, and that just means that there's quite a bit of bounce there at higher cadences. Now, I can combat that, I can change my position and keep it smooth, but it takes a bit of effort, a bit of concentration. So I tend not to do that. And yeah, sort of 90 is the maximum really comfortable cadence without having to consider my position and keeping it smooth. Everything up to 90 just kind of happens naturally. Right, this is always a bit iffy here. Can't see too far around the corners. They're going right, I'm going left. Yeah, that's something I practice quite often. just adjusting my seating position without stopping pedalling, because of course if you've got somebody right up behind you in a group and you need to change your seating position, the last thing they want is for you to stop pedaling to do it. Right, quick battery change there. Not sure how much of that last bit we got, but yeah, I think changing position while still pedaling is a good skill to learn. Right, heading back. It's 7 o'clock. Madam's still in bed probably. I can't imagine for one moment she'll get up and put the coffee on. I think that'll still be my job when I get back. We'll have to see. Ah, it's gone green for them again. So does this know that I'm here? Or do I have to wait for a car to pull up behind me? It definitely did a double. Oh, there we go. It's just set up for cars, isn't it? One bike, 3 cars. What's the decision here? Which kind of makes sense if you're talking about throughput. Ah, looks like I'm going to get all the red lights on the way home. Remember, trying to take it easy today. No need to accelerate away from the lights. Car behind me, in a hurry, no doubt late for work, should have been there at 7. It's 5 past. Oh yeah, he's getting quite pushy actually. I'm going to stay away from the curb. But he went the other way, so that's fine. All good. I was just about to say how peaceful everything is when there's no cars around. But then, you know, seagulls. I forgot about the seagulls. They're conspiring against me. Because when you think about a town or a city, wasn't it lovely and quiet during lockdown? Lovely and quiet. I don't suppose we'll ever see those sorts of scenes again. Maybe we will, I don't know. But we'll see. But I noticed that Wallace down road, even with the addition of the bike paths and what have you, doesn't seem to be any more queued than normal. So all this oh, it's going to be terrible, blah 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 by the car drivers, doesn't seem to have made too much difference. I drive through there quite a lot. Seems to be much the same. During the daytime, very quiet, which is normal. Everyone's at work, and in the rush hours, yeah, it's queued up, but then it always was. I do wish they'd sort out White Leg Way though. That is, you know, as a cyclist, that is just embarrassing. You know, I think there's some egos that work there. and they need to get over themselves and sort it out, rather than just keep saying, no, no, it's fine, that's the way it's supposed to be, blah, 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 accusing everybody of a hate campaign against it. It's embarrassing. Sort it out. You're making us all look stupid. Sorry. Hello. Yeah, definite eye contact. Always a good thing. No excuses like I didn't see you. Or the next one? No. Thank you. So I think she only waited because there's a car behind me. I wonder if she'd have waited if it was just me on my own, or if she'd sort of put her foot down and, you know, zoomed across the road in front of me. Oh, I got a car coming up behind me. Does he want to get through before the bridge? He might try. I think I'm giving him the right signals. Hello. Thank you. Oh well, so much for an easy ride. It's always the way home. As soon as I'm on my way home, just relax. Come on, chill out. Bus in the bus stop. I'll wait for him to go with the lorry on the other side. There's no room to filter. I do tend to ride these painted bike lanes with my handlebar over the top of the white line, and I know that puts me close to the traffic, but it stops them creeping into the lane, and not only that, it gives me a lot of escape room on the left. Good grief. It's only 7:15 and somebody's already a bit het up. He wants that to change, doesn't he? Noisy, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to be able to get across the crossing. It's just gone red, but I don't think I'll get there in time. And this isn't one you want to play roulette on, because people are in a hurry. No, it's still red. All good. That was lucky, because you get people overtake down that offside lane, and they try and time it with the lights. If they don't see you, that's the end of that. 7:15. Julie will just be putting the kettle on to make coffee. I'll be there, perfect timing. I'm living in a dream world because that will never happen. In reality, I'll make the coffee and she'll probably be in the shower. Right, so the last bit, I do like driving. What am I talking about? Come on. That's it. Well done. I don't mind riding in traffic. I think it does a couple of things. First of all, it just reminds you of the sights and the sounds, keeps you practice what to look out for, just that feel of what's going on. And an extension from that is it just hardens you a little bit, I think, to having 2-ton death machines around you, and maybe keeps you a bit more disciplined, you know, to sort of not be airy-fairy in the way you ride and be predictable. Something that is very easy to lose, I think, if all you do is ride quiet lanes and roads, chatting away with your partner or whatever. Very easy to drift off, maybe. I think riding around town in amongst the traffic maybe just keeps that alertness there. And I mean, we do that, we ride together, talk, chat on the quiet roads and what have you, but I'd like to think we're always kind of alert to what's going on. Whereas I see some cyclists next to each other, chatting away, no idea what's going on behind them, no idea what's coming to them at the side. And I think that is something I would like to avoid doing myself, and for Julie to do. Having a nasty moment but blaming the other person because this, that and the other, that doesn't stop you being in hospital, does it? But being alert to a situation that may be somebody else's fault that you can deal with, I think is always a better solution. Come on, Audi, don't mess about. Well done. And there we go. That'll be 20 miles. Nice way to start the day. Bit of sunshine. Very enjoyable. And the camera only played up a couple of times. And once was for a battery, so I'll let it off. Shadow! Hey, see, I didn't have to stop pedalling there, did I? So I failed. Yeah, go on, push through. Into the sun. Can't really see what you're doing, but impatient. This road is a nightmare actually into the sun. It's absolutely direct. So you have to be a little bit careful. And he probably didn't see me till late because he's looking straight into the sun. Ah, okay. I'm not going to take him on. Obviously he didn't care one way or the other. Didn't see me, didn't care. There you go. Right, that's that. Have a good day.